It is a beautiful Friday afternoon in Madison, Wisconsin, as the Wisconsin Badgers return to the Goodman Diamond for their home opener, taking on their Big Ten rivals, the Iowa Hawkeyes, here on Big Ten Plus. Glad to have you here with us. I'm Carter Burmaster, joined by Ani Nambudri, and then Chrissy Birdsall will be joining us as our sideline announcer later in the broadcast. And then you have two teams here, Ani, who have shown a lot of improvement this season, and Kendra Lewis has been a big part of that for Wisconsin.
Absolutely. The reigning Big Ten Freshman of the Week. She's been hitting 16 for 31 over the past 10 games. She has a hit streak going as well, going into today. Absolutely one to look forward to today.
And meanwhile for Iowa, it's another underclassman. Sujin Berry has been fantastic, leads the team with 7 home runs this season.
Yeah, another person who was awarded a Player of the Week honor, this time Softball America Player of the Week. Another person hitting over 500 in the past few games. And that home run pop up the middle, that's classic.
As we're now going to take a look at the starting lineups for this game, starting with the Badger defense. And it's Gabby Salo getting the start in the circle, and you have Emmy Wells at the catcher, Olivia Bark, Ellie Hubbard, Hillary Blomberg, Molly Schlosser, Danny Lucy, and Brooke Cuffle, all kind of regular starters. We also have Riley Crane, who's making her first start since March 8th against Southern Illinois. And she will be starting at second base in this one. So, of course, with this being the first game of a doubleheader here this Friday night, see a little bit of the tweaking with the lineups for Wisconsin. We're also seeing that with Iowa's leading off for the Hawkeyes will be Gina Young, followed by Tori Bennett. Sujin Berry's batting third, followed by Desiree Riviera. Alyssa Ramos is getting the start today, as Warriors hold a 4-0 lead. And Gabby Salo has been doing what she does in the circle all season long. She's continued it today.
Gabby's. Yep. So,
I'm
sorry.
At the start of the fourth. Not an easy batter to face in Sujin Berry.
Gabby Salo, again, she's had her number called upon multiple times for this Wisconsin team. And she has one of the most impressive high school softball careers maybe you can ever read about. She led her team to a 65-8 overall record, 50 career shutouts, 19 no-hitters, 12 perfect games, all in high school.
Unbelievable numbers there.
And I have a Celsius off because
Was that Mountain Dew and Monster that you mixed?
oh no, it's Diet Mountain Dew. Diet Monster. Jesus. Because
There's got to be a biohazard.
It's
Badger fans, join us in welcoming 10-year-old Sadie from McFarland, Summit Credit Union Junior announcer.
Welcome back to Madison, and we're going to throw it over to our sideline announcer, Chrissy Birdsall. What do you got for us, Chrissy?
Yes. One down from 4-0 down. In fact, they're now up 5-4 on the Badgers at Goodman.
And what a time for Tori Bennett to hit her first career home run. Her third season with the Hawkeyes, no home runs until now. And the Hawkeyes have completely turned this game on its head here in Madison. And now it's Molly Jacobson coming in for Wisconsin. A grad student transfer in her first season with the Badgers. She previously pitched at Virginia Tech. It's her 20th appearance of the season.
I mean, what a time to get your first home run, though, right? In the top of the fifth, when you're down 2, getting the 3-run homer, they put you up 5-4.
And now coming to the plate is not who you want to see if you're Wisconsin. It's Sujin Berry, who of course had the home run, her solo home run, to get the Hawkeyes on the board last inning. And she will be the first batter that Molly Jacobson has to face. Jacobson does have 2 saves on the season, a 5-2 record. Little bit of wiggle room, though, where if they want to be aggressive, they can. How aggressive are they? She doesn't swing because she got walked. And now 2 on for the Hawkeyes with 2 down here in the top of the 7th. And Devin Simon coming up to the plate. She's made some big defensive plays in right field. Now can she deliver at the plate to extend this 3-run Hawkeye lead?
Wells and Jacobson just going to have a bit of a chat going into this matchup against Devin Simon. Again, someone who's been 0 for 2 on the day, but overall, quite a good hitter. 806 OPS on the year, with a on base percentage of 395, nearly 400 on base. That's good. That's really good stuff. She's also one of 6 hitters on this team with 6 walks on the year.
So Wisconsin making a pitching change, and getting ready to come in is Jordon Felci, a freshman from Staten Island. This is her 8th appearance of the season.
She had her first start against Michigan. She's definitely more of a ground ball pitcher. They're going to let the defense do her thing, which again, the defense has looked pretty good for this Wisconsin team. Felci also the tallest player on this team at 6'1".
At a 2.68 ERA. And for Iowa, they brought in a pitch runner, and that is Avery Jackson, who is 2 for 2 on stealing bases this season.
Also quite the defender, Avery Jackson.
The clutch time where you need a big play, and Wisconsin is putting the ball in the hands of a freshman. Of course, we've already seen one of Wisconsin's freshmen delivering a big way today. That was Kendra Lewis. She had those 2 early hits, including a solo home run. But now Jordon Felci trying to get one last out to prevent any more damage in what has already been a 2-run 7th inning for the Hawkeyes here in the top of the 7th.
I think what's also important to know with Felci is she's lefty, right? So I think what they're looking at is they want a different look on the mound. Simon, though, to be fair, is a righty hitter. So this would be pitching into her. But again, I think what's most important for them is they want a different look out there on the mound for these Iowa hitters.
That is something that Yvette Healy has talked about, similar to how they like having Kendra Lewis as that left-handed hitter. Now Jordon Felci is that left-handed pitcher against Devin Simon, who struck out in the 2nd and the 4th.
And also definitely when you're looking at this team and who they'll maybe be pitching in the next game, I guess it'll probably be another righty on the mound for the next game. And again, it's just offering those different looks, making sure that the Iowa hitters stay on top of each pitch. Because again, it's important to think of this day as 2 games rather than just the 1.
Big swing and a miss there from Simon for strike 1.
Freshman being tossed in a really important situation as well. So this is definitely going to be interesting to see.
Got to look at Avery Jackson there on second. Does she go? She does not, as there's strike number 2 thrown by Felci. Runners on first and second. Iowa extended their lead to 7-4 in this inning. Felci trying to get that 3rd out. Big swing and a miss. A strikeout on Devin Simon. Felci does what she needs to do, and we will head to the bottom of the 7th. 7-4 Iowa. They're 3 outs away from a win.
Your run of the game winner is Mia Johnson. Please head to the Wisconsin table to claim your prize.
Welcome back to Madison for the bottom of the 7th. Hawkeyes 3 outs away from a win as we take a look at their upcoming schedule. Of course, game 2 of this series right after this one here, and then game 3 tomorrow morning. And then they will go back home to Iowa City, where they have a 3-game series against the Nebraska Cornhuskers. That's not going to be an easy one. And then after that, Iowa, they'll be staying home. They'll have a doubleheader against Maryland. Excuse me, they'll have a game against Illinois State after that series against Nebraska before they travel to Maryland. Here in the heart of this Big Ten season. Of course, Iowa, as we've mentioned earlier, they won 6 games in the Big Ten all of last season. They have 3 wins already in the Big Ten this season. And again, a sweep of this series against Wisconsin would match that win total from last year. Adams 3 outs away from getting that first win.
What's important to note, Adams being entrusted for those final 3 outs.
Who else would you want doing it? Hubbard. Oh, excuse me, it's a change for Wisconsin, a pinch hitter, Mackenzie Foster. A sophomore from Columbus, Indiana. 26th appearance of the season. She's batting at .250. There's a strike. 2 thrown by Adams.
Like the entire day, Iowa has been playing with those corners, and it's proven to be, it wasn't actually effective in the first parts, but now, again, with someone who's showing bunt the entire way, maybe it is useful.
Wisconsin trying to get runners on base to give their powerful hitters a chance. Right at the bottom of their lineup, Emmy Wells, she is a power hitter, will be up next. Then they'll go to the top of the lineup with Olivia Bark, and then hoping that they're able to get to Molly Schlosser, Hillary Blomberg, and Kendra Lewis. Here's a hit to third. The throw is in time for out number 1.
What a pick by Brianna Johnson. Falling down but making sure the play was made at first. It looks like Healy does have a, maybe looking at a different, may want another look at the play. But it looked like a really good pick out of Brianna Johnson, the freshman infielder from Sacramento, California.
And also a big-time throw from Alyssa Ramos. You kind of feel, if you're Yvette Healy, you have to challenge in this situation. You trying to get that runner on base. It was very close. And making sure that it was the right call on the field.
I mean, if so, again, great play from Ramos, but an even better play out of the freshman, Brianna Johnson. If this play stands.
Here's a look at the replay. Ooh, it is close.
It is definitely a close play.
From that look, it's hard to see in between all the pixels, but it looks, I think it's just in time. I think it might be out. It's hard to say, but from what I can see, I think that they got it right on the field.
I mean, when it comes to reviews, what they're not looking for like, oh, this is like a 50-50. No, they're looking for clear evidence that the play goes the other way. And yeah, again, in situations like these, it's not fully clear. We do get a close up here on the play.
Hard to see the ball. Looks like the ball's in the glove there.
And it looks like the foot is on the bag the entire way.
What a huge call this will be. They're taking their time with it. Well, a bit longer than the last review. And here they come, right as I say that.
It'll be important to see.
It is an out. What a call by this umpire crew to make the right call on the field. And it is 1 down here in the bottom of the 7th.
Home plate umpire Troy Kukendall coming out very clearly, very emphatically calling it out. But Brianna Johnson, just that's the play you have to kind of focus on. An incredible pick at first.
Also a shout out to first base umpire Whitney Flovin, who made that call initially. Now Emmy Wells takes strike 1. Iowa 2 outs away from an incredible come-from-behind victory here at Goodman to spoil the home opener of the Wisconsin Badgers. Wells is 0 for 2 on the day. She struck out in the 4th. And then she's hit by a pitch. Well, when we talked with Yvette Healy, she talked about how something she's told her team is to stand in there and take those hit by pitches because it gets them on base, and Wells does that, and they do get the runner on first for Olivia Bark.
She also talked about how the team's like, honestly, they're quite hyped when they see those plays, you know, people putting their body on the line, making sure, hey, like, because usually in those, they're sort of, usually sometimes they throw pitches to sort of make people back off, make sure that doesn't happen. But again, just get on base any way possible. You're down 3 runs, right?
And well, we talked about, will we see a complete game from Jalen Adams? The answer appears to be no.
We seem to be getting Talia Tretton on the mound.
Perhaps be interested to see what they do with pitching in game 2 of this. But of course, just a little warm up for Tretton if they do decide to go to her for the start for game 2. Adams is still out there to talk with her freshman pitching counterpart. And it looks like Adams is going to first base.
And we're also going to get the pinch runner, Emma King. She's been the pinch runner consistently for this Wisconsin team. Also talked about by Healy as one of their main pinch runners. But again, I think maybe also Iowa may be looking at this as like sort of an extended bullpen session just at the end of a game. So who knows? But now the top of the lineup is here with 1 out on the board.
First pitch by Tretton is a strike. Going against Bark, who's 1 for 3, had an RBI single in the second. Hoping for another big hit. She has 1 home run on the season. She drives that one left center field. Going back, it is down for a base hit. King running third. Bark is going to go for third, and she is safe at third. King is in to score an RBI triple from Olivia Bark. We talked about the clutch moments. That is a clutch moment from Olivia Bark, as now the tying run comes to the plate in Molly Schlosser.
And talking about a substitution, Emma King at first hustled the entire way home and almost gotten completely undisputed. But another massive hustle play out of there from Olivia Bark. Looking what looked like a certain double, stretching it out, legging out the triple after trip in left field. But again, massive play. These are the plays that Wisconsin need if they want to get back in this game. Now the tying run is at the plate, Molly Schlosser.
Had a single in the first. That's ball 1. And going back to that hit by Bark, perfectly fit in between the center fielder Tori Bennett and the left fielder Tatiana Roman. Both of them were going for it. Neither of them were able to get there in time. That one inside for ball 2.
Swing checked as well, but the slide by Bark was again aggressive, but making sure to swim around the tag. They're just, again, really good technique out there from Olivia Bark.
What more drama does this game have for us? There's a strike thrown by Tretton.
2-1 with a runner on third. A 2-1 count with a runner on third and 1 out. I mean, you couldn't ask for more cinematic at a home opener.
That one is high for ball 3. Looking at Talia Tretton, she is just a freshman, but she's pitched a lot this season. She has 2 saves, a 6-3 record. Trying to secure the win. That one's in there for a strike, and we have a full count.
I mean, she's also coming off her career game, a 10 strikeout game, obviously. And again, 73 innings on the year. So, like, she's been out there a lot for this Iowa team.
Full count to Schlosser. That one's driven into center. Going back, it is gone! It's a tie game! Unbelievable! Molly Schlosser, another clutch hit. 7-7 at Goodman.
As clutch of a hit as you can ask for. Molly Schlosser. That is her 3rd on the year, and what an important hit out there. It is a tie game at Goodman. What a home opener this has been in Madison.
We talked about how the Badgers, they needed 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th to keep the game going. And now the winning run comes to the plate. Hillary Blomberg. Who else would you want in this position if you're the Badgers? That first pitch high for a ball from Tretton. Blomberg had the 2-run homer in the first to get the scoring started. Now in a 7-7 ball game, a chance to win it. That one outside for ball 2. And of course, Kendra Lewis is on deck as well. And we will get to see her no matter what with just 1 out. So the 2 best hitters for power on this Wisconsin team when they need just 1 run. There's a strike thrown by Tretton.
It'll be number 7 in a 7-7 ball game. looking for Hillary Blomberg, who's on 7 home runs on the year. It's just a lot of 7s everywhere. But as clutch
with number 7 in the
with
in the
number 7
circle.
in the on-deck circle as well, yeah. But as important of an at-bat as possible in game 1 of this doubleheader. There's another game after this.
Yeah. Good things happen when these two rivals take the field against each other. What a game we've been treated to. 7-7 in the bottom of the 7th. And that one is going to be another ball. A 3-1 count to Blomberg.
A hitter's count with 1 run remaining. A payoff pitch here.
The 3-1 is in there for strike number 2. We have a full count. And again, this game has all been about battling back. We saw Iowa battle back from a 4-0 deficit. We've seen Wisconsin battle back with 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th. And now Talia Trenton trying to battle back. That's a base hit in the center. Blomberg with a single. And here comes Kendra Lewis.
I might rebuke something you said earlier, Carter. You asked who would the Badgers rather see at this play other than Hillary Blomberg? Maybe Kendra Lewis in a situation like this. She's been the hot bat for a while now, the freshman. And again, she's had massive hits this game. Maybe she has one more in the bank.
Hit a home run in the 2nd. Here comes a pinch runner in Kate Linkletter for Blomberg, putting more speed on the bases. We already saw that work out with Emma King, who scored earlier this inning to get the rally started. And Kendra Lewis, she does have the power to hit and to bring Linkletter home from first. 7v7 in a 7-7 game, bottom of the 7th. There's ball 1.
As number 7 takes on number 7.
Couldn't have write it any better. Freshman v freshman. Trenton, the pitch fouled off.
I mean, the Badger fans could not have asked for a better home opener. I think we were saying this, but massive payoff. What?
That one in there for ball number 2. It's been a beautiful day, great crowd, great atmosphere. Both Badger fans and some Hawkeye fans packing the stands. And they've gotten a fantastic game to watch. Game 1 of this series as there's another ball, a 3-1 count to Lewis. So she has the option to go for a big swing if she wants it with this hitter's count. Lewis in his center, going back at the wall and off the wall. Linkletter coming to third. She's going home, and the Wisconsin Badgers walk it off.
Kendra Lewis, a triple to walk it off. Massive hustle play from Kate Linkletter. What a cinematic opening game for the Wisconsin Badgers at Goodman.
What a game. 8-7, the final. And it's Kendra Lewis, the freshman, with her 3rd hit of the game and her 2nd RBI of the game to win it for Wisconsin. She is something special. And what a finish to this one.
The reigning Big Ten Freshman of the Week delivers again in a massive spot. And you know what's the best part, Carter? This is game 1 of 2.
We have another game coming up after this one. But what a way to start this series. What a way to start the home schedule for the Badgers. 8-7, the final score. Wisconsin, they jumped out to that 4-0 lead. Iowa battled back, 7 unanswered runs. But when they needed it, as we take a look at the final stats, when the Badgers needed it, they came away with 4 runs in the bottom of the 7th. A 2-run home run from Molly Schlosser to tie the game. And then Kendra Lewis with an RBI triple to walk it off against one of their biggest rivals. Outside of Minnesota, Iowa, you probably would say, is Wisconsin's biggest rival. And in Kendra Lewis's first game against the Hawkeyes, she does that.
And absolutely, as back and forth of a game as you can ask for as well. Starts off with the Hillary Blomberg home run. Olivia Barr gets a scoring, but then Iowa comes back with a massive top of the 5th. capitalized obviously by that massive home run by Torrey Bennett, and now leading to an incredible bottom of the 7th rally by the Badgers. Capitalized by that Molly Schlosser home run to tie it, and then Kendra Lewis winning it at a walk-off triple.
I don't know how Game 2 is going to live up to this one, but we're going to see how it goes. That is all for us here in Game 1. From myself, Carter Burmaster, Ani Nimbrudi, Chrissy Birdsall, thank you for joining us. Wisconsin wins it 8-7 in Game 1.